Little house cleaning here. A minute for a few people to chime in. We are live. See if we can get this horse out of the barn today. So Matt Gaetz withdrew his name today from consideration for USAG. I think that's a big setback for all of us Trump supporters because let's see, we can do
of men who are
we're getting there. We're getting there. Ugh. So today's topic is, sorry for the delay, that Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration of being AG. And while I thought, let's fix this, that Matt was the perfect pick because he's a firebrand and he said he's willing to go in and tear the place up and get right to the bottom of the problem. But there were false accusations and smears that were coming out from something that happened 3 years ago. And I lived in Florida when it happened 3 years ago. And what they tried to say was that Matt Gaetz was sleeping with minors, and what the investigation showed that it was someone else who brought the minor to the party, and that the minor was not connected to Matt Gaetz And there's Robert Govea did a stream on this yesterday and showed that there are letters from this guy that set it all up, and that it's just a false accusation, and that the guy, I think his name is Greenberg, said that she would, hey, laugh, let me see if I can figure this out. How do I make you a mod, laugh? Do I have to go on YouTube itself? There it is. There, I made you a managing moderator. I hope I did that right. Yeah. Yeah, it was in my settings in YouTube. It gave you a different kind of thing though. Yeah, I made you a managing moderator. So it should come up when you leave me a message again. There. Now the wrench shows up. Yay. We figured it out, right? Okay. So Matt Gaetz withdrew his name, and the report that's in the ethics committee is a debunked report. And the reason it's debunked is because there's a guy that got arrested that spilled the beans to another inmate that he set it all up, that it was a setup. They paid the girl, and the girl did not tell him until like weeks later that she was underage. It was all a setup. Robert Govea has the letter from the snitch that turned it over to the feds. And what I thought was funny is the guy that turned it over to the feds is a lifelong Democrat. How funny is that? But, you know, the other guy that's up for it, Andrew Bailey, he's a real piece of work. I covered Marcellus Williams. He was a black inmate that was wrongly convicted like 30 or 35 years ago. Well, it was longer than that. It was like the 1990s, I think. And the prosecutor at the time kept all black people off the jury. He's a black man accused of unaliving a white girl, and he was convicted. And the appeals court recently said that the jury was improper, and he also had new DNA evidence that showed that he was not guilty, but the police mixed his new DNA evidence with existing DNA evidence and then destroyed his new evidence by doing that. So the new prosecutor said, this is truly an innocent man. And he said, but because his new evidence was destroyed basically by the police department, that wasn't the prosecutor's words, but that's what happened. When they mixed his new DNA evidence with the old existing evidence and their DNA evidence, it basically diluted the new evidence, made it unusable. So the new prosecutor offered Marcellus an Alford plea, took the death penalty off the table. And so Marcellus agreed to that, signed it. It went to court, was approved by the court. Andrew Bailey went to the Missouri Supreme Court to get that invalidated so that the execution could go forward. He has no business anywhere near the U.S. Attorney General's office because of that. That's just my view. You know, you have a new prosecutor that says, hey, this is an innocent man, and you insist on he be executed. To me, that's not right, is it, Laugh? It's not right. And the other guy is, yeah, Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz would have been a great attorney general. Matt Gaetz would have been a great attorney general because he cares about the people. He cares about rooting out corruption. He's very loyal and defends Trump. He's taken down Merrick Garland so many times this last summer. And I thought that he would have been the perfect person. But they find these things they can smear you with. You know, the Republican Party used to be the party of war, the party of big business, low taxes, and small business. Now, because of Trump has rooted out what they call the neocons, the pro-war, forever war people. He sent them packing. So and he's brought in people he's made this a party of the people, a party of low taxes, low regulations, pro-America. And that's what I think this country needs. We need a president that is about and for the people. The Democrat Party used to be the party of the people. Now they're the party of war, of socialism, which is the same as communism. And they are about high taxes, anti-business. You know, some of the things that I covered before I met you, Laugh, is that Kamala's stance on business, she said she thinks millionaires and billionaires, their tax rate should be 80%, 80. And that she thinks that businesses should pay a 28 to 40% tax rate. Okay, our current tax rate is 21%. Everywhere else in Europe, the business tax rate is 15%. So if you raise the tax on business, they're going to leave. She never could get that through her head. You know, when you have a president that raises taxes, increases regulation, businesses aren't going to hire. You know, they only hire what they exactly need. It's not going to be a thriving business. So, what about, oh, it's hard to believe that the YSL trial is going to be over. Yeah. But my point about her making the millionaires and billionaires tax rate at 80% is they will leave. They will take all their big businesses with them. See, most of your millionaires and billionaires own big businesses that employ thousands and thousands of people. You raise their tax rate to 80% and they leave, they're taking their business with them. That means factories will be boarded up again. We don't want to go through that again, do we? Yeah, there's still 12 more defendants. But what I'm saying is, this current trial will soon be over. And I don't understand how they're saying that Whitaker is going to be the judge for the next set of 6 defendants. They're doing them 6 at a time. And that it's the new set is going to start, I think they said December 3rd. This case isn't even over yet. It's just going to go to the jury. They're saying probably Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday. I don't see. Yeah, closing starts Monday. She given Max 2 hours and Doug 2 hours, but then she gave the state 5 hours. At least that's what they said. Yeah, she's over it. And it's all Love's fault. It's all Love's fault. Love and Hilton. If they didn't argue with her and be so messy about presenting their trial, see, this case should have taken 3 to 4 months and it should have been over. But here we are 2 years later. Some have said 2.5 years, but 164 trial days. Yeah, it should be. See, if the defense gets 4 hours, the state should get 4 hours. That's the way I look at it. The defense has 2 defense attorneys. They're getting 2 hours each. And then the state is getting 5. So maybe she's going to let Max and Doug have 2.5 hours each. And they said the state is going first, which is good because you always want the jury to hear your case, your instructions to them last. You want your words to be the last thing they hear before they go and deliberate. It's just crazy. This whole week has been crazy. That oh, excuse me, because well, we had the whole dust up with Biden declare he this is craziness. His speech on Sunday was supposed to be about planting more trees to to help end CO2 emissions. He walks up to the microphone and he says, "Today I gave Ukraine permission to use long range missiles that we provide to attack targets deep within Russia. Have a nice day," and turns and walks off. And then yesterday morning, I read that overnight that Ukraine had used them weapons to attack Russia, you know, spots 190 miles inside of Russia. It's craziness. And then now, yesterday afternoon, I read that both Democrat and Republicans are meeting to invoke the 25th Amendment on Biden and Kamala to remove them both from office for starting an illegal war with Russia. We'll see if that happens. But it's because Putin said that the reaction, yeah, the reaction from it, I did a live on it. You can go back and look at my live. I did a breaking news live because I was so incensed that here, this president that doesn't know where he is half the damn time basically declared war on Russia by giving Ukraine the green light to use our weapons to attack Russia. Craziness. Just craziness. Because now Russia is talking about using nukes on Ukraine and said that not only will they hold the Ukraine responsible, they will hold responsible whoever sold them the weapons, that there will be attacks on both. And then he called his war cabinet together and they were going to talk about the use of nuclear weapons in the time of war. Trump said that he was going to call Putin and bring this to an end. Can't happen fast enough. And then I think that Pete Hegseth was nominated for Secretary of Defense. He will do a great job. He's a decorated veteran. He was an Army major, and he did tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. And he just wrote a book how that China is developing new weapons that we have just thought about. They have them almost ready. He said they have hypersonic missiles that have the capability to take out 10 or 12 aircraft carriers at a time. And he said, we don't have the capability to stop that. He said, we need to change our focus from hurting people's feelings to fighting wars. He said, all this DEI nonsense and knowing your enemy's proper pronouns before you attack them, that's just craziness. Like you got a guy pointing a rifle at you from 100 yards away, and you're going to run over there and ask him what his pronouns are before you shoot back at him? What the hell kind of nonsense is that, right? This is just crazy. And I think that Biden is trying to set us up for a fail. He opened the borders. He let all these gangs in from South America. I think he did it knowingly. You know, Tren de Aragua is one of the most violent street gangs in South America. They're from Venezuela. They have set up in Colorado and in Nashville. There was an article I read about them coming to Montana, here in Montana. And what they do is they just walk in with AK-47s and run the management of the apartment complex off, and then they take in your rent. And if you don't do what they tell you, well, then you're either unalived or ARD. And the Democrats are saying, oh no, these are fine, good people. What the hell, right? It's craziness, if you ask me. Plain craziness, huh? And Joe and Kamala are complicit. That's the way I look at it. They're both complicit. Okay, I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to talk about this real quick. And I will talk to you soon. Take care, my friend. Bye now.